What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about being alone. And this last week I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan, who's conducting this interview with David Goggins. And for those of you guys that don't know, David Goggins is a former Navy SEAL. He is he's run like a lot of really intense races, and basically has just been through one of the worst lives imaginable, has come out the other side, and it's produced literature, has been on other podcasts, just kind of sharing a story. Anyways, so in this interview, he's talking about this whole idea that even though he's achieved incredible measures of success, he stays in this place of day in and day out just picking up his burdens and going to war with himself. And in this interview, he's talking about how in that place of incredible achievements, there's really nothing else to be learned. And he defines himself by his discipline, not by what he's done, what he's accomplished. And what's interesting about this is when you define yourself by discipline, everything else as far as what the discipline can give you sort of becomes irrelevant. Jocko Willink says that discipline is freedom. That's like kind of another way of putting that. Right before I got out of this divorce in 2019, I just remember there was like this tangible moment in time where I felt like my soul had been like broken in that. I got out of this relationship. I spent like the next 6 months to heal, pick up new hobbies, and really just kind of put myself in this voluntary state of aloneness, so then that way I could just recreate this new version of me. And I remember some of those moments that were the sweetest to me, that felt the most transformative, were just on the weekends. I'd be off from work, didn't really have a whole lot of friends at this time, and I would just be journaling, reading outside, and I just had this vigor, this determination to just cut the head off of like every demon of depression and anxiety. When you get alone with yourself and you're not intimidated by those voices in your head, how bad they are, like that's real power. I think I'm more impressed by a man or woman that can sit in that place rather than maybe be ambitious or pursue 1,000 different things that seemingly look good on the outside but are merely a point of distraction for them. And I think if you sit with yourself in silence, you begin to see maybe a lot of your ambitions that you're pursuing really are to just cover up those noises. So I think when you take inventory, when you do a deep cleaning of this, you can come out the other side and have a much clear picture of what you actually want to do, and better clarity regarding issues in your life, man. You have a better awareness of when things pop up too. There's a version of me that I absolutely despise, that seeks comfort, that evades responsibility, and that chooses the easy road. And this is somebody that I live with and I go to war with every single day. And it's the man in the mirror, it's this person that we all have in front of us that we wrestle with. It's the ego, it's ourselves. To get to my deathbed one day and to look back and to have not conquered like this, that thought alone terrifies me the most. I think comfort is the greatest besetting obstacle to your destiny. It sedates and it quenches that thirst, that longing for more in your life. Like there's just so many things to distract you from that one thing that that you should do. Why do I say this? Because there's nothing to be learned within comfort. A lot of people nowadays get lost in the crowds. It's very easy to find relief there. It's like now we have a full war of attrition. We have man-made coping mechanisms, artificial intelligence that actually perpetuates our desires to be in comfort. You have 1,001 ways to be distracted, but you only have one purpose that you need to focus on. It's like, I don't need to sit here and tell you what you need to do. All of us within our heart of hearts, We know the things that we should do. Don't let the noise of the sirens drown out those voices of truths in you. They may be dormant, but they're still there. Anyways, going back to this idea of solitude, I think one of the most valuable things that solitude can teach you is this ability to critically think. You don't realize so much of what you believe in is just from what other people have told you what to believe. So much of the composition of our, cognitive thinking are really just impressions of other people, these deep-seated beliefs that may or may not be serving you. So solitude allows for your mind to be placed on this operating table. There's a reason when you go to the doctor for surgery, you get sedated, right? It's like if he's gonna remove the tumor from your chest or whatever, it's like you got to be still. Another thing that solitude teaches you is it empowers you to make decisions. I personally have people-pleasing tendencies, and a lot of it is just really due to me being a very strongly empathetic person. I care deeply for people around me, but sometimes I can do it at the expense of myself. And so putting myself in a place of solitude really showed me that a lot of the decisions I was making were really to the best interest of other people, and not always what I was wanting. When you start realizing this, you're going to make decisions for yourself. And at first it's going to feel almost selfish because you're not used to it. But I want to encourage you to keep giving yourself permission to make decisions for yourself, by yourself, that maybe only really benefit you. It sounds crazy, but it is literally the key to actually becoming a more selfless person, because you're not going to be able to give to other people when you're empty. And ultimately, this right here is what keeps you from being a bystander in your own life, right? You don't want to be a side character in all your friends' lives, what they're doing. It's like you want to be the main character of your story, and that first starts with setting healthy boundaries for yourself, knowing your limits before you overextend yourself. So don't let someone else write your narrative. The third thing that solitude does is that it restores your vision. It gives you a sense of clarity. If something bad happens in my life, but I have vision of my future, and I have a revelation that what I'm going through right now is actually going to serve and refine the man that I'm trying to become, that makes that trial, that problem, much more palatable, right? When I have this idea that this is actually going to shape my character, this is what I'm asking for in life. And solitude also restores that relationship that you have with Mother Earth in a way as well. If you're somebody that likes to be out in nature, man, when was the last time you went outside and you just watched the sun go down? Or when you walked barefoot through the forest and you just let the wind hit your skin and you're feeling the leaves on the trees and you're walking down to the river and nobody knew where you were, nobody knew what you were doing, you didn't have anywhere to be, right? And you actually enjoyed your own company. That's powerful.